Police Services Chief Jeff Swoboda here. Good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm so glad you're here for Chief Chat today.
The one thing is I was reminiscing about 30 years, what hasn't changed, and especially the thing that really gets me fired up and that I love is the community engagement portion. From day one, I was immersed in the idea that without the community, we fail. And I think we talked a little bit before. I was a resident officer, which means the city put me in what we call a troubled neighborhood because of crime and overcrowding and some other things that were going on, everything from drugs to you name it. And I lived there and policed that neighborhood for 5 years and woke up and went for my morning jog through the neighborhood and got to know the residents and it really just showed me that there's not necessarily a bad neighborhood. There are people in certain neighborhoods that do things, and sometimes if you don't enforce it or if there's not a relationship, they can really expand and get worse and things. So, but at the very basic level, people just want to live and raise their kids and go to work and be in a safe spot. And so, moving into a neighborhood, just realizing that we're all want the same things out of life for the most part. And so that idea of community engagement has stuck with me for 30 years. And it's something now that I love still doing here 30 years later. And just last night, we were at a police in the park and some of our brand new officers out there. And hopefully they're kind of feeling the same thing, that without the residents and without them understanding what we're doing and knowing that sometimes they're going to be disappointed in us, they're going to be mad at us, they're not going to like the way we did something, and we get that. But if you have a solid relationship, you go through the ups and downs together, and in the end, you're still a better police department. And then individually, I can look back and think of, just no joke, hundreds of cases I've been on or stories or letters that I've gotten that made all the difference. And so I love that part of the job. And so 30 years later, that's still what the job is all about. It's about people, even with all the technology and social media and all the other stuff. Yeah, we have four main goals, and community engagement is up there as much as crime reduction and traffic safety and making sure people can, ride from here to there safely, and those are all the things that, people expect out of their police department. And then the last one that we are unashamed about is the goal of ourselves. Our officers are out there doing a very difficult job. And over the years, it's kind of just been this idea of suck it up and keep going. And we've really just recognized that it's not just our officers, it's our dispatchers. Our professional staff members throughout, that we need to take care of ourselves, because if we're not at our best, we're not going to be at our best for other people. And so that's physical fitness. We started a new mental health kind of program inside the department where people talk to our on-site psychologist. They get some time off of work. So really just encouraging people, kind of the whole self, to come to work and be the best you can be. So it's a cornerstone of everything we're doing here. Community policing just means that you and I work together, we identify what the issues are, and then we realize together we need to solve that. It's not just the police department's job. When people look for the police department to solve the homeless issues, it's like not going to happen. That's a citywide, that's a national issue that we all need to be working on. So it's not about just, the police need to solve homelessness, police need to solve the drug things, because the police can't. We only have so much. So, I also see at times in policing, and again, we're in the political environment where people are talking of things, it's that time of year. Right now, as a police chief, I don't have a base. I need 100% of the community to support me, to support the officers, to support our dispatchers, all our professional staff. And what I see too much of is people kind of finding their corners and not looking for middle ground and realizing we all come together. And sometimes we're going to disagree, and that's fine. But that's the part that concerns me. If I ever see law enforcement professionals, working to get 51% of the community support, that's a problem, because if you've got 49% who don't support you or want to be a part of what you're doing in policing, that can't happen, in my opinion. So the system in some ways is set up where that does occur from time to time. But as a police chief in a local organization, not elected, don't have a base, I report to the city manager. Our goal is to engage everyone, and not just my people or my base. It's everyone. I need everyone to be a part of what we're trying to accomplish, which is making Fort Collins the safest city in the country. And that's going to take, all of us. And so I don't like when I see policing really becoming political. That's a problem. And it's just part of the world we live in right now. And so, those pieces, but what I do, I'm still so proud of, is we've got another 12 or 15 ready to be police officers to take our next police academy, which kicks off in July. We just graduated, I think, 11 or 13.
Congratulations.
So yeah, we're working on, we have our own academies, which is producing the police officers that we want. We like to say, we want to have the police officer that you want to have pulling you over, that you want coming over when your son or daughter needs some assistance. And so it's an exciting time for Fort Collins Police because the way we're doing policing.